Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem of the UAE. Please be seated. Please now welcome to the stage your MC for today, Informa Markets Maritime, Director of Digital and Customer Development, Emma Howe.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Seatrade Maritime Logistics Middle East. We have an exciting, insightful and powerful conference programme arranged for you over the next 3 days, and I look forward to seeing many of you in those sessions. To kickstart the conference, please welcome Seatrade Maritime Chairman Emeritus Chris Heyman. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Emma. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, salam alaikum. And on behalf of Seatrade Informa Markets, let me add my welcome to you to the 2023 edition of Seatrade Maritime Logistics Middle East. This event, along with the UAE Maritime Week, is held under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, and the Dubai Police have agreed to be a strategic partner, and we're very grateful for all of that support. It's actually more than 20 years since Seatrade first came to the UAE and set up an office here, launching this event and developing a range of others in the offshore marine and cruise tourism sectors. That means, of course, that we had the chance to see at firsthand how a combination of creative thinking and innovative investment strategies have been combining here to build a world-class maritime hub. The scale and nature of the development here will be reflected, of course, in this conference program, and you can see it for yourselves in the fine exhibition in the halls adjoining this hall. Sustainability is the theme of this morning's keynote session, and rightly so. 2023 is proving to be a big year for this industry as it navigates a pathway towards greenhouse gas emissions reduction. The IMO's MEPC meeting in July is seen as a crucial staging post for this decarbonization strategy. And we'll have a chance to hear from Secretary General Kai-Tak Lim later on this morning, and I'm sure everybody will be listening intently to hear what he has to say about the prospects for that July meeting. And then, of course, COP28, hosted here in Dubai in November, will bring the wider debate on global environmental agenda back again to this region, 1 year on from the successful event in Sharm el-Sheikh. The UAE's election and subsequent re-election to the IMO Executive Council is an indication of its status as a global player. And we can surely expect that that international role will increase still further in the years to come. As well as the environment, this conference program will also focus on the other two legs of the ESG tripod: social welfare issues on the one hand, and corporate governance on the other. As an ambassador at large for the mission to seafarers, I've seen at first hand the priority which the UAE is giving and has given throughout the pandemic to improving the life experience of the seagoing workforce, and I understand further initiatives will be announced in due course, and I think that is an admirable strategy by the government. This industry is going through what must be the biggest technological revolution in 100 years, probably in its history. So in the course, again, of this conference, we'll have a chance to hear from experts on how it is responding to the opportunities and challenges which these changes inevitably create. There'll be focus, too, on the dynamic changes in the supply chain logistics, and with, we understand, $33 billion in offshore upstream development forecast for the Middle East this year. The offshore marine sector is back on a fast track after 6 or 7 very lean years. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, an exciting future, but also a very complex one, lies ahead for this industry. So I hope that you will take full advantage of the 105 speakers that we have enrolled for this program to listen and take advantage of what they have to say and to hear from them about the opportunities ahead from those who are driving that process. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your attention, and may I wish you a really enjoyable 3 days at this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Now we have 2 important voices from the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure to hear from. First of all, His Excellency Suhail Mohammed Al-Mazrui, Minister of Energy and Infrastructure, has recorded this message for us and will actually be here in person tomorrow.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to welcome you to the UAE Maritime Week, a premier event for the global maritime industry as we gather. Today, the business landscape is undergoing significant changes and the maritime sector is rapidly progressing. This event comes at a critical moment, providing an essential platform for dialogue with the stakeholders to ensure the sector's continued success. The past few years have been a remarkable growth in the maritime industry, both globally and locally. Our ports have demonstrated their resilience and round-the-clock operations during challenging times, supporting governments to keep countries going. The maritime sector has become a key economic pillar in the United Arab Emirates, contributing over 90 billion dirhams annually to our GDP. Our distinguished guests, the UAE is a country with boundless potential, great capabilities, and qualified competencies. We have continually kept pace with the development in the maritime sector with our 20 leading ports and other governments and private sector stakeholders, ensuring our status as an international hub is kept. Our noteworthy ranking in several competencies indices, including 5th as a key competitive maritime hub, have further solidified our position. We have successfully maintained our leading position as a 3rd in transport services, trade, and bunkering supply index, and 12th globally in ports performance and efficiency index. The UAE has been re-elected to the Council of the IMO in the Category B membership for the 3rd time with the highest number of votes. and will be running our 4th candidacy toward the end of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here today, we must build on these achievements and charter a roadmap to maintain the efficiency of our ports, enable seamless global trade, and reinforce blue economy. The Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure has been working closely with all industry stakeholders to strengthen the maritime regulatory framework and governance, enhance human investments in the sector, and improve the business environment. As this year remarks the year of sustainability in the United Arab Emirates, and it's the year where UAE will be hosting the world at COP28 toward the end of the year, we need to promote the sector's contribution toward net zero and the initiatives and strategies by the IMO and by the member countries to deliver on net zero in this important sector without impacting the growth of our economy. And as we come together to the United Arab Emirates for the Maritime Week to discuss the challenges and opportunities facing the maritime industry, let us commit to finding innovative solutions and rethink about the ports and the ports operations in terms of digitizing and delivering on the technologies of the future. In conclusion, I would like to thank all of you for attending this important event and look forward to fulfill discussions and collaborations in this important sector during this week.
Thank you to His Excellency for that insightful presentation. Now, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage the Under-Secretary for Infrastructure and Transport Affairs, His Excellency Engineer Hassan Mohammed Juma Al-Mansouri.
أصحاب السعادة، الضيوف الكرام، السيدات والسادة، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدني أن أرحب بكم في أسبوع الإمارات البحري، أحد أبرز الفعاليات العالمية في القطاع البحري الذي يشهد اليوم تطورات هائلة ومتغيرات متسارعة. ويأتي هذا الأسبوع في وقت حيوي ليوفر منصة محورية للحوار مع كافة المعنيين بما يضمن استمراريات النجاحات التي يحققها هذا القطاع. خلال السنوات القليلة الماضية شهدت الصناعات البحرية نمواً ملموساً على الصعيد العالمي والمحلي، وأثبتت موانئ دولة الإمارات المتحدة مرونتها خلال الأوقات العصيبة، وعملت على مدار الساعة لتقديم الدعم للحكومات للحفاظ على استمرارية عملها وتوفير متطلبات شعوبها. ويشكل القطاع البحري ركيزة أساسية للاقتصاد الوطني لدولة الإمارات، حيث يسهم بأكثر من 90 مليار درهم سنوياً في الناتج المحلي للدولة. الحضور الكريم، تتمتع دولة الإمارات بإمكانيات غير محدودة وقدرات هائلة وكفاءات مؤهلة وفق أعلى المستويات العالمية، كما نواكب باستمرار التطورات في القطاع البحري من خلال 20 ميناء رائداً بمشاركة جميع المعنيين في القطاع الحكومي والخاص، بما يضمن الحفاظ على مكانة الدولة كمركز بحري عالمي رائد، وترسيخ المرتبة المتقدمة لدولة الإمارات في التقارير التنافسية العالمية من هذه المكانة الرائدة، بما في ذلك تصنيفها في المركز الخامس عالمياً ضمن أهم المراكز البحرية الدولية. كما حافظت الدولة على المركز الثالث عالمياً في تيسير التجارة المنقولة بحراً وفي تزويد وقود السفن، والمرتبة 12 عالمياً في مؤشر خدمات الموانئ وكفاءة الأداء. وقد أعيد انتخاب دولة الإمارات لعضوية مجلس المنظمة البحرية الدولية للفئة ب للمرة الثالثة على التوالي بأعلى عدد من الأصوات مقارنة مع بقية الدول الأعضاء، وسنقدم إن شاء الله ترشيحنا الرابع لعضوية المجلس في نهاية هذا العام الجاري. السيدات والسادة، ونحن نجتمع اليوم تحت مظلة أسبوع الإمارات البحري، علينا أن نبني على الإنجازات التي تحققت ونرسم خارطة طريق للحفاظ على كفاءة موانئنا وتمكين وتسهيل حركة التجارة العالمية السلسة، إضافة إلى تعزيز الاقتصاد الأزرق. وفي وزارة الطاقة والبنية التحتية نعمل عن كثب مع جميع الأطراف المعنية في القطاع البحري لتعزيز الأطر التنظيمية والحوكمة وتعزيز الاستثمار في العنصر البشري، فضلاً عن تحسين بيئة الأعمال. وبينما نتطلع إلى الدورة 28 من مؤتمر الأطراف في اتفاقية الأمم المتحدة لاتفاقيات الأمم المتحدة الإطارية بشأن تغيير المناخ COP 28 التي تستضيفها دولة الإمارات نهاية هذا العام، من الضروري أن نوحد الجهود ونعمل على تعزيز التعاون لتطوير حلول فاعلة تسهم في دعم سلسلة التوريد بأكملها وانسجام مع مبادئ مشاريع 50 في الدولة، فإن الحدث سيسهم في تعزيز اقتصاد حيوي في الدولة تمتد آثاره لتشمل منطقة الشرق الأوسط بأكملها. وبينما نجتمع في أسبوع الإمارات البحري لمناقشة التحديات والفرص التي تواجه القطاع البحري، دعونا نتعهد جميعاً بتطوير حلول مبتكرة من شأنها أن تحدث تغييراً جذرياً في عمليات الموانئ، بما في ذلك الرقمنة والعمليات المستدامة والأتمتة وغيرها. هذه دعوة لتبني أحدث التقنيات المتطورة والعمل معاً نحو مستقبل أكثر إشراقاً واستدامة. في الختام أود أن أشكركم جميعاً على تواجدكم في هذا الحدث المهم، ونتطلع إلى مناقشات وأوجه التعاون ونتائج مثمرة خلال الأسبوع البحري في دولة الإمارات. أتمنى التوفيق للجميع، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those insightful words. Now we're excited to have an address from the Secretary-General of the IMO, Kai-Tak Lim. Unfortunately, Mr. Lim couldn't be with us in person today, but he has sent this message.
Minister, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to have this opportunity to share my thoughts at the opening of the Seatrade Maritime Logistics Middle East, for the first time taking place as a part of the United Arab Emirates Maritime Week. I'd like to express my appreciation to the organizers, Seatrade Maritime, and the government of the United Arab Emirates. I always stress the importance of cooperation and communication to lead the maritime sector into the future, and events such as today's, which bring together industry representatives from this region, are vital. I think we all can agree that shipping, as the most efficient and cost-effective mode of transport, is and will become ever more important for a sustainable global economy, as we strive to ensure that we leave a planet that can sustain humankind for generations to come. This week, you will discuss many key topics in maritime not least the decarbonization of shipping, digitalization, and automation efforts, and the need to work toward a more efficient global supply chain. As you are certainly aware, all these topics are high on the agenda of the International Maritime Organization, IMO, as the global regulator of international shipping. The comprehensive regulatory framework developed and constantly strengthened by IMO over more than 7 decades is critical for shipping safety, security, sustainability, and for the global supply chain. Ladies and gentlemen, at the present, our biggest challenge is the maritime sector's efforts to contribute to combating climate change through the decarbonization of shipping. IMO member states are currently engaged in upgrading their decarbonization strategy, which is due to be adopted in early July this year. That gives us less than 3 months to ensure that IMO showcases its global leadership toward decarbonizing shipping, leaving no one behind. Now is the time for extensive communication to find consensus. There is no doubt that this upgraded strategy will provide the necessary certainty for all stakeholders to invest in future fuels and ship-related technologies. I believe that IMO member states must be ambitious and bold enough to elevate the vision and the levels of ambition toward 2050. I see great opportunities for many countries in the Middle East to be part of the new green future. This strategy will usher in showing strong leadership, cooperation, and knowledge sharing. We can all learn from each other, and IMO is ready to support this process. Meanwhile, digitalization and automation must be harnessed to support greater efficiency of shipping. Efficient maritime logistics hubs are essential to keep global trade moving and facilitate the smooth running of the global supply chain. They will also be key to ensuring that shipping can achieve its decarbonization goal. Ladies and gentlemen, this green and digital transition gives us an opportunity to create a sector that is a major contributor toward a sustainable future. I'm certain that the United Arab Emirates, as the host of COP28 in December this year, and many other countries in the region will support the achievements of our common goals toward a digital and decarbonized shipping sector through their excellent leadership and constructive input to IMO's work. I wish you all a constructive discussion and successful event. Thank you.
I'm now delighted to welcome CEO and Managing Director of DP World UAE and JAFSA, His Excellency Abdullah bin Damathan, to the stage, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. It is really great to be back together after a year pause on Seatrade. In this short session, I would like to reflect on the main challenges and opportunity we are all facing from a big picture perspective. I will explore familiar issues like geopolitical upheaval, new trends in regionalization, and the impact of nearshoring, then also look at the rapid progress of digitalization across our industry, as mentioned by His Excellency Al-Mizraoui. And I will also touch on the potential way forward and share some of the development currently shaping our own UAE region strategy in DP World and JAFSA. But let's start by looking at some of the major factors shaping the most critical business decisions around the world. These are identified in our 2023 Trade and Transition Report, launched in partnership with the Economist Impact at the World Economic Forum in Davos earlier this year. And the finding this year at a global level may be unsurprising. Geopolitical pressure remained the overriding factor, driving the reconfiguration of supply chain. And in response, companies are looking to bring down their supply chain cost, while at the same time reducing the risk of disruptions. Many are taking action to reduce the length of their supply chain through nearshoring or reshoring. They are thinking long-term and being prepared to sacrifice immediate-term profitability for increased resilience and reliability. And we see this on a regional level also. Companies are looking to resilient location like Dubai, which has successfully maintained a steady flow of trade even during major geopolitical and global challenges. And despite these challenges, business globally are still prospering, growth throughout expansion. The top drivers of export growth in 2023 are expected to be growing demand in key markets, expanding of operation into new markets, and improved efficiency through digitalization. The trade and transition finding from our own Middle East region shown a similar picture. Rising transport, energy, and food costs, as well as anticipated of economic recession in key markets, are the all major concerns. At the top of this list of executives in the region are the inflationary pressure on imports over the next couple of years. And to counter high inflation and therefore higher input cost, executives in the region are turning to technology to help improve supply chain efficiency and create opportunity for new revenue streams. As elsewhere, our region is seeing a significant increase in regionalization and reshoring. But as they say, where there are challenges, there are also opportunities. We are seeing a push for industrialization to diverse economies away from oil. It is anticipated that regionalization and reshoring will help to enable the development of these emerging industries. Nowhere are opportunity for continuous growth more evident than here in Dubai and in the UAE. Trade and commerce in the region has been showing market resilience over the past few years. And in recent weeks, we have seen some excellent economic and trade indicator for our home region. And as mentioned by His Excellency and the Undersecretary, that the UAE has recently announced as one of the top 12 countries in the World Bank Logistics Performance Index, which measure the quality of logistics services, trade and transport-related infrastructure, and border controls. This positive news has continued with the Kearney's 2023 Foreign Direct Investment Confidence Index, which marks and ranks the UAE as the #1 emerging market across the Middle East and Africa. The UAE is also positioned as a third globally after China and India. Our goods trade with the rest of the world passed $1 trillion in 2022, with export and import increasing to the higher crude oil price, according to the World Trade Organization. Against this backdrop, government commitment to economic growth continues. Take, for example, Dubai D33 economic agenda, which is extremely ambitious. It aims to double size of the economy by 2023, double size of our foreign trade, and add 400 cities to its foreign trade map in the next decade. At DP World and JAVZA, our goals are similarly ambitious and fully aligned with the leadership of Dubai and the UAE. As many of you are aware, Jebel Ali remains by far the largest port in the region, and we have significantly expanded our capabilities beyond simply being a port operator. We continue to progress toward our vision to provide the logistics solution from the factory floor to the customer's door. At JAVZA, we are committed to the kind of investment that makes economic sense for the region. Last year, Dubai Traders Market was established to help traders from the region, China, and the world to access goods that can be stored, sold, imported, and exported all in one place. This is the kind of forward-looking innovation that is necessary to let us realize our future ambitions. As we all investment, as well as investment in our home market infrastructure, we are also investing in significantly expanding our logistics expertise beyond Dubai and this region. We have done this by merging with companies like Imperial and Syncreon that are already logistics leader in high growth market around the world. Our commitment to digitally transform the industry has also been a vital part of our strategy. Take Dubai Trade, for example. Dubai single window platform has been at the forefront of digital transformation and logistics for over 2 decades. Such technology unlocks the ability to predict and adopt cargo flow in all markets while reinforming the supply chain, an essential step toward more reliable trade routes, and not just reliable, but greener. And the final area of keynote focus I will mention is around collaboration and partnership. The effort of the UAE government has seen the first UAE-India free trade agreement early last year, followed by 5 further agreements in Indonesia, Israel, Turkey, Cambodia, and Georgia, and many more in the pipeline. These agreements are a huge value for businesses and trade. They open new windows of opportunity and will give us access to new markets. The first of our own bridge initiative, the India-UAE bridge, was launched over 3 years ago, and will integrate our asset and capability to offer trade value and efficiency. In 2022, bilateral trade between India and the UAE has grown by 23% year over year to surpass $84 billion, and the earlier data from 2023 shows this trend is to continue. In conclusion, I am sure that in a rapid, challenging, and changing environment, we must adopt and innovate in our business in order for it to prosper. In a competitive, noisy, and complicated world, we know that cargo-owning customers are demanding greater simplicity and control and are focused on achieving improved supply chain cost efficiency and resilience. To meet these customer needs, at DP World and JAVZA, we are fully committed to creating more integrated end-to-end logistics services, which deliver significant supply chain improvement, wider market access, and ultimately prosperity for our industry and the greater good of all. The future is in our hands, and I sincerely look forward to working with you to shape the future in ways which benefit us all. Thank you very much, and wish you a great event ahead.
Thank you, His Excellency. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Senior Vice President, Global Business Development and Global Marine at ABS, Vasilios Kristalis, please, to the stage.
Assalamu alaikum. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. I'd like to express my appreciation and gratitude to everyone here. You represent what is best in the industry. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to the event organizers and everyone who was involved bringing the UAE Maritime Week to life. As the eyes of the world turn to focus to Dubai in the run-up to possibly the most important United Nations Climate Change Conference since Paris, the maritime sector will be under even higher levels of international scrutiny. As a global maritime center and leader, Dubai's hosting of COP28 represents a golden opportunity to demonstrate how our industry is responding to the siren's call for a more sustainable model and is bringing together the extensive roll call of stakeholders we need to drive genuine change. Of course, we in the maritime industries are already operating in the midst of a perfect storm of technology disruption and rapid regulatory change, triggered by the twin forces of decarbonization and digitalization. The last few years have shown how preparing for the unexpected must now be business as usual. Change is now a constant for all of us, whether this is driven by the imminent addition of the carbon vertical to your balance sheet, of the ripple effect of alternative fuels across your engineering and operations activities, or geopolitical stressors driving evolution in established trades. We're seeing entire business models pivot, rise, and fall. So managing change, especially driven by the global clean energy transition, is something all of us are contending with. We see significant change coming in four critical areas: regulations, fuels, technology, and the development of a wider green infrastructure. And COP28 will undoubtedly help drive us forward in all of these areas. On the first point, we should not underestimate the importance of the regulatory landscape. It is the industry's greatest risk, as the cost of compliance hangs in the balance. We all understand the challenges regulators face, but currently everything is unsettled, and the industry desperately needs consistency and clarity of outcomes. We're seeing various states establish or develop their own requirements for ships trading in those regions. This means the IMO and regional regulators are working at a different pace and can have a different approach. That creates inconsistencies in the fragmented regulatory framework, which will increase the cost of shipbuilding and ownership, since the ships will need to comply with many different requirements depending on their trading profile. Operators also face additional layers of complexity as as EU ETS ask them to buy emission allowances calculated on a tank-to-wake basis, while Fuel EU operates on a well-to-wake basis. Meanwhile, the IMO waits new revenue-raising mid-term measures to be introduced in 2025-2026 timeframe. The resulting regulatory soup creates a challenging environment in which to make high-stakes decarbonization investments. There is still a lot more work that can be done relative to the boundary conditions of safety and scalability of the next generation of fuels, as well as ways to address the energy-saving calculations and verification of energy efficiency technologies. To avoid inconsistencies and a fragmented regulatory framework, the IMO needs to move faster and provide the required clarity in the maritime fuel standards and regulatory framework. IMO MEPC 80 in July will be critical and is expected to be something of a regulatory accelerator. We anticipate this conference will finally crystallize the requirements on life cycle greenhouse gases intensity of marine fuels, bringing a fundamental change in how emissions are accounted for. As of today, only tank-to-wake emissions are counted, and these guidelines are anticipated to bring the well-to-tank portion of emissions into account, completing the well-to-wake cycle, a paradigm shift in how we think of emissions. The conference will also discuss CII corrections. Let me be clear. The challenge of CII is real, and we are going to see it start to reshape the entire industry this year. The impact of CII is expected to be much greater than EEXI, as compliance will require a delicate balance of many factors. As it is based on the vessel's operations, all parties involved in the operation, owner, charterer, and port facilities, will play key roles in maintaining vessels' compliance. Balancing all the various metrics, routes, port operations, and pairing them to the right vessel and commercial operations will be a difficult challenge. Port infrastructures will also increasingly come under the microscope, particularly its pivotal role in efficient operations. Extensive delays and a lack of efficient infrastructure at ports increase a vessel's CII rating, and operators cannot afford to sail to ports that are not investing in improving their operations. This will require more work from the charterers and owners to optimize which ships operate on which routes. For example, on a route with little energy efficiency port infrastructure, vessels that have efficient auxiliary generators will be a better fit. On fuels, 2023 will see an increase in demand for fuel flexibility as operators look to hedge against geopolitically driven price volatility and asymmetric global bunkering infrastructure development. Currently, dual fuel and dual fuel ready vessels represent 30% of the vessels currently on order, or 60% if you go by gross tonnage. 60%. That will increase as the available fuel mix widens this year, with methanol retrofit trials beginning in earliest and ammonia engines finally becoming available in 2024, next year. Dual fuel orders are currently dominated by LNG, particularly in container carriers, pure car carriers, and bulk carriers. However, dig into the numbers a little deeper, And you will see 67 container ships orders are ammonia ready, 26 are methanol ready, and the further 20 are both ammonia and methanol ready. Both dual fuel options are expected to grow market share in many vessel segments significantly. Speaking of methanol, this is fast becoming an alternative fuel of choice for the shipping in the energy transition, with an infrastructure that is now becoming established beyond grey methanol, with agreements for green methanol generation and supply being developed in all over the world. Container operators are signing production and supply agreements with nation states, and the Methanol Institute is tracking 80 projects expected to produce 8 million tons annually by 2027. So green methanol production is scaling up and starting to enter the supply chain in significant volumes. This, combined with its other inbuilt advantages of established technology and easy of handling, will rapidly give methanol critical mass in the market. There are 101 methanol-fueled vessels on order book currently and 112 methanol-ready vessels. This will certainly increase given its multiple pathways to reach carbon neutral and carbon zero. Incidentally, there are only 9 hydrogen-ready dual-fuel orders, only 9, indicating that hydrogen is still some way off becoming a significant player. What is available today, however, is biofuels. Due to the technical simplicity and low capital cost of biofuels, which are comparable for blending with current fuels, biofuels have an immediate contribution to make to the energy transition. While the IMO develops standards for crediting their use, ABS is already today working with leading shipping lines and innovative flag states to pilot the use for a short-term drop-in solution to reduce carbon intensity. In terms of technology, the hunt of decarbonization can again be seen with rapid development of cost-effective emission reduction solutions. We see imminent advances in onboard carbon capture system design, which is a cornerstone for both carbon and hydrogen. Value chains development. Significant refinement in the capabilities of EET, such as air lubrication, wind-assisted propulsion, and artificial intelligence-powered real-time performance analytics will see them play increasingly key roles in the seaboard decarbonization strategies. If you are in any doubt today about the centrality of data to the modern shipping operation, 2023 is going to put it beyond question. The spiral role of data platforms is pulling everything together in terms of operations, maintenance, weather, optimal routing, and regulatory environments. It's already standard for big players. We will see this permeate further into our industry, reaching all operators regardless of fleet size. Data today must be shaped and developed to support each operation's commercial goals, whether that is maintaining a C-grade CII, rating to avoid breaching charter party agreements, or more focused on fuel efficiency, or just-in-time arrivals. The same data can be used to make decisions based on those lines. We're now at the point where software is making these trade-offs and decisions not only possible, but commonplace. Increasingly, we're seeing pressure from both consumers and supply chains to adopt sustainable business practices, influencing investments and driving competition. At the heart of these business practices is the push to decarbonize not only vessel operators, but also the associated value chains. Green shipping corridors answer many of the questions posed here and will certainly be at the heart of any successful movement to decarbonize our industry. Green shipping corridors are excellent examples of a public-private partnerships that will need in order to move up the step gradient to get to net zero by 2050. They are interconnectors. They bring all of the pieces of the puzzle together, point-to-point trading and spot trading, and address the challenges of a diverse, disaggregated, and globally required industry with careful, calibrated ecosystems designed to deliver success at scale and pace. Ultimately, green shipping corridors offer policymakers an opportunity to create an enabling ecosystem with targeted fit-for-purpose regulatory measures, financial incentives, and safety regulations. They serve as incubators for numerous decarbonization technologies, processes, and procedures, and thereby cultivating localized decarbonization ecosystems. As those ecosystems develop, they will foster the convergence of technical feasibility, economic viability, and societal responsibility that is necessary for global decarbonization value chains to attain sustainability. By developing a self-contained alternative fuel infrastructure and vessel support system within the commercial trade, they help overcome one of the key obstacles to the adoption of the spread of new fuel technologies, uncertainty. Specifically, a bundle of uncertainties surrounding fuel supply disruption and offtake and vessel support and maintenance. ABS is involved in many of the 26 or so green shipping corridor initiatives globally. We expect to see significant announcements from a number of these in the months ahead, as the various consortia of public and private sector interests coalesce into agreements around infrastructure, trade, fuel supply, and offtake. In this way, corridors can be a key accelerator of the journey to 2050, serving as incubators for numerous decarbonization technologies, processes, and procedures. Acceleration is an apt choice of word, as the forces of regulation, technology, fuels, and vast infrastructure investments combine to reinforce one another. The pace of change we have become used to is only going one way. Despite the resulting uncertainty, a widespread disruption, faster change is going to be required if we are to hit our decarbonization targets. However, amidst a whirlwind of change, some things remain constant. The imperative of safety, the fundamental role of infrastructure, and the overriding importance of security of fuel supply. And not forgetting the brave men and women who will need to deliver all this. While the shape of our decarbonization future may today be uncertain, we know it will be built on these foundations. And with this, I thank you for your time and for your attention.
Thank you, Vasilios. Next, to share some important insights with us all is the Director of Maritime Business Development Department at Dubai Maritime Authority, part of the Ports, Customs and Free Zone Corporation. Please welcome Ardor Kalenter.
I don't know why the organizer, they make it difficult to me. They put me after the master, so I will try my best. مهندس حسن المنصوري، وكيل وزارة الطاقة والبنية التحتية لشؤون البنية التحتية والنقل. السادة الحضور، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Your Excellency, Mr. Hassan al-Mansouri, if you allow me, I will deliver my speech in English. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor for me to be with you today. I will deviate from the content of the carbonized and the sustainable. I will stick with the logistic part, where the Seatrade Maritime Logistic Middle East 2023 conference is a welcome and valuable opportunities for us to pause and reflect on the achievement and the evolution of our sector. It is also a chance for us to consider the future of an industry of such pivotal importance to the Emirates of Dubai and the wider region. The Emirates of Dubai has made its mark on the world as a place where significant accomplishments are made in record time. Ladies and gentlemen, the reputation has been forged by the ambitious and forward-looking vision of our leadership. The wisdom of our leadership has helped ensure that Dubai's blueprint for success is part of every sector, including our maritime industry. Friends, Dubai has long been epicenter for maritime activity in the region. From dhow building to peril diving, the Emirates maritime sector boasts an extensive and diverse heritage with a rich history in both import and export. Nevertheless, with the vision of its leadership and government leading the way, Dubai's relationship with the sea accelerated, transforming the maritime into a major player in the region and global maritime industry. It has greatly empowered Dubai to become the world-class business and investment powerhouse that it is today. Our sector contribution to Dubai economic success is significant. We play a particularly important role in increasing trade, enabling infrastructure development, and driving economic growth. In first quarter of this year alone, 33% more companies have chosen to be part of Dubai Maritime success story. Exceptional growth. And there are so many achievements to reflect on. But our wise leadership also recognizes that if Dubai Maritime sector and the businesses it supports is to continue to thrive, we must evolve. We need to stay one step ahead of our competitors and help ensure that Dubai remains the best places in the world to do business. As a result, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE, ruler of Dubai, introduced Law Number 3 of 2023 on Dubai Maritime Authority in February. The law expanded Dubai Maritime Authority mandate as the regulator of maritime sector in Dubai. The new law grants DMA enhanced responsibilities for regulation of maritime sector in the Emirates of Dubai, as well as control maritime safety in the Emirates of Dubai. Following the launch of our new enhanced mandate, we have sought to actively explain our role objectives to the sector. We have also tried to strengthen our network of relationship with the sector. With that in mind, we launched the DMA New Partnership Program, and I am pleased to report that it has been well received by the sector. To date, we have engaged through 3 accessible platforms, seeking view from across the sector. Firstly, we engaged. We organized a flagship event to launch our partnership program to explain the DMA new mandate and strengthen face-to-face relationship across the maritime sector. Secondly, we educated the stakeholders. We hosted an extensive series of detailed virtual webinars hosted by DMA and attended by representatives from businesses operating in Dubai maritime ecosystem. Several thousand of emails were sent directly to representatives from across the sector to promote and encourage participation. Thirdly, we consulted. We undertook a substantial open consultation and dialogues, including a sector-wide online survey, designed to provide businesses with forum to shape DMA priorities. That final element is crucial, as the feedback we received has driven the introduction of a new directive. 95% responded to DMA partnership program consultation said they supported the enhanced mandate of the DMA and recognized that value it would bring to the sector. They ranked safety, operations, and regulation as the 3 most important areas for DMA to focus on to strengthen the sector. Interestingly too, they see the cost of doing business and lack of coordination between entities as the 2 greatest challenges facing the maritime sector in Dubai. Only 49%, less 1 in 2, felt business was sufficiently easy to undertake. This underlines that need to do more to simplify costs, service, and process for customers. Crucially, 95% of respondents also said they support incorporation of international best practices into Dubai maritime economy. That include through the adoption of mechanisms to enhance transparency, competitions, and fair pricing. What that tells us that there is an appetite to offer clear and transparent pricing to consumers. It also tells us that stakeholders from across the sector recognize the value of doing so. Finally, it tells us that there is a willingness to adapt and evolve the sector, and that business leaders recognize that to stay ahead, we need to get ahead. The first step in the process comes in direct response to the feedback we received from stakeholders. I mentioned earlier a new directive. Directive number 1 on transparency of local sea container charges in Dubai, which launched in May 2023. Under the new directive, service providers in Emirates of Dubai are required to provide details of all their local container charges alongside association sea container charge terminology. This applies to all service providers who, at the effect date, they licensed by Dubai Economic and Tourism, or licensed by Special Development Zone, or licensed by any free zone, including the IFC. This important move aims to provide us with a clear data-led understanding of local sea container charges and associated practices. The directive is in line with the highest international standard and is based on a study conducted by DMA to determine international best practices. And it forms part of the authority effort to enhance transparency and agility in addition to ensuring attractiveness and ease of doing business. All parties have until end of this year to comply. The response from the sector, now I think two weeks since we launched, has been overwhelmingly positive. We managed to train more than 600 from the service provider. I'm grateful for the energy and enthusiasm they have shown to comply with this important directive. For those across the sector, business essentially continue as usual. Service providers are free to continue charge their existing rate to the respective customers, while the DMA undertake a full analysis of the data provided. But they are not able to directly or indirectly increase the existing sea container charge, which are frozen until further notice by the authority. I think it is important for us to reflect on what the directive will achieve and the significant benefits it will bring. Firstly, it will provide the DMA with a clear data-led understanding of local container charges and association practices. Secondly, it will allow us to align how we operate with the highest international standards and best practices. Finally, it will enhance transparency and agility in addition to ensuring attractiveness and ease of doing business. The benefit will be significant, and they will combine to create a strong sector. And they will enhance our ability to compete internationally. As I mentioned at the outset, the future of the sector is pivotal to Dubai's long-term success. It is part of the fabric and history of our Emirates. We must be respectful of the past, but in keeping with the drive and energy of our leadership, we must also always look to the future. Friends,